Good morning, venture capital. This is Metagame, and today's episode is about the staggering AI investment wave worth over $200 billion that somehow flew completely under the radar of SEC regulators. $202 billion. That's how much capital poured into AI startups in 2025. 50% of all global venture funding, half of everything. And here's the part that should make you uncomfortable. The SEC has no idea where it went. I'm not being dramatic. The government's official tracking system for venture capital Form D filings has no AI category. None. The fastest growing sector in venture history, capturing more capital than SaaS, fintech, and biotech combined, and the regulatory apparatus built to track this stuff files it under other technology. Or just other, like it's a miscellaneous drawer in your kitchen. So here's the question I want you to sit with. If you're making allocation decisions based on SEC data feeds and standardized reporting tools, what exactly are you measuring? Because I can tell you what you're not measuring. The thing that matters most. Let's talk about what $202 billion actually looks like. That's a 75% year-over-year increase from 2024's $114 billion. The fastest growth in any venture category since the mobile boom of 2010-2011. Q4 alone closed at $61 billion, nearly double the $32 billion from Q4 the year before. This isn't incremental growth. This is categorical dominance, reshaping the entire venture ecosystem in real time. And the concentration, unprecedented. OpenAI and Anthropic together represent $183 billion in combined valuations. Two companies, 14% of the entire global venture market. Let me give you some context. At the peak of the 2021 venture bubble, the frothiest market most of us have ever seen, the top two venture-backed companies represented about 8%. We just blew past that with two AI labs. Foundation models alone consumed $80 billion. That's 40% of all AI funding going to companies building the underlying intelligence layer. This is a fundamental departure from how previous platform shifts worked. During mobile, capital concentrated in applications Instagram, Uber, WhatsApp. During cloud, AWS and Azure were corporate infrastructure plays, not venture-backed bets. But in AI, VCs are writing $80 billion in checks, betting that proprietary models will create defensible moats. The burn rates are extraordinary. Leading foundation model companies are spending $5 to $15 million monthly on compute alone. They need $100 to $200 million raises just to reach product-market fit. Now here's where it gets interesting or infuriating, depending on your perspective. The SEC's Other Technology category captured 203 disclosed deals totaling $18 billion in 2025. Industry estimates suggest 40 to 60% of these filings involve AI components. That means $7 to $11 billion of AI capital is taxonomically invisible. It's not hidden because companies are being secretive. It's hidden because the classification system was built for a world where technology meant something you could put in a box. Building a new product? Temez Labs takes you from Napkin Sketch to the App Store. Trusted by Fortune 500s for quality, security, and speed. Book your free strategy session at temez.ai. Let me break this down for you. When the SEC says other technology, they mean we have no idea what this company actually does. It's the regulatory equivalent of a shrug emoji. And right now, that shrug contains $18 billion of the most consequential capital deployment in venture history. This isn't just an administrative quirk. This is an intelligence gap that creates asymmetric advantage. While most firms rely on data feeds that literally cannot distinguish AI infrastructure from e-commerce software, sophisticated investors are building proprietary classification systems. They're scraping GitHub repos, tracking AI research paper citations, monitoring Hugging Face model deployments, using signals that predict commercial traction before traditional metrics catch up. The firms winning here aren't waiting for PitchBook to update their categories. They're seeing deals 3 to 6 months before they hit mainstream venture databases. That's enough time to build relationships and develop conviction before competitive rounds crystallize. And the demand side? It's not slowing down. KPMG's Q4 enterprise survey shows 26% of organizations have already deployed autonomous AI agents in production environments. Not pilots, not experiments, production. Average AI budgets hit $124 million annually. And here's the number that should keep you up at night. 67% of enterprise leaders classify AI infrastructure spend as recession-proof. That means economic headwinds won't slow this the way they impacted previous technology cycles. The capital isn't chasing hype. It's being pulled by enterprise deployment momentum, accelerating faster than any previous platform shift. The geographic story is also evolving faster than most people realize. San Francisco captured about $89 billion, 44% of the total. Still dominant, obviously. But secondary markets are emerging differently this time. London pulled in $12 billion, concentrated in financial services AI. Tel Aviv grabbed $8 billion in cybersecurity AI. Paris took $6 billion focused on healthcare AI. This suggests something important. AI is large enough to support multiple geographic centers of excellence rather than winner-take-all dynamics. If you're still sourcing exclusively from the Bay Area, you might be optimizing for the last war. So what does this mean for portfolio construction? Traditional theory assumes diversification across 20 to 30 positions. But when category leaders command $150 billion plus valuations, access to mega rounds might matter more than early-stage diversification. Do you have the fund size, LP relationships, and strategic positioning to participate in billion-dollar rounds? Or should you explicitly focus on application layer deals where $20 to $50 million rounds still dominate? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Neutrality isn't a strategy. Either you're building expertise in model architecture, compute economics, and training data provenance, or you're explicitly avoiding foundation model deals and focusing on companies building on top of OpenAI and Anthropic APIs. Both strategies can work. Straddling creates confusion in deal sourcing and undermines pattern recognition. The metrics crisis is real too. Traditional SaaS KPIs break for AI-native companies. When compute costs create temporary gross margin compression, but inference efficiency improves 10x annually, how do you underwrite unit economics? The 40% rule doesn't account for cost curves that look nothing like historical software businesses. The firms figuring this out are developing new benchmarks. The firms that aren't are applying frameworks built for a different era. And if your quarterly LP updates track performance against enterprise software, or internet categories, you're comparing yourself to benchmarks that exclude the fastest-growing capital deployment in venture history. Your 15% year-over-year growth in enterprise software looks different when LPs realize AI-focused funds grew 75% in the same period. That's not a conversation you want to have unprepared.
Oh, hey, friend. Do you like what you're hearing? Now you can have a ridiculously amazing podcast, too. Check out holler.studio to get yourself one today.
The alternative data opportunity is massive. Providers that can accurately classify AI deals, parse technical documentation, and predict commercial traction before mainstream coverage are becoming essential vendor relationships. This is infrastructure for competitive intelligence, and the firms investing in it are operating with a different information set than everyone else. Let me bring this back to where we started. $202 billion flowed into AI. The SEC filed it under Other. The measurement system built to track venture capital has a blind spot the size of half the market. And here's the thing. This isn't a problem that's getting fixed next quarter. The regulatory apparatus moves slowly. The market moves fast. That gap is your opportunity or your exposure, depending on which side of the information asymmetry you're sitting on. The firms capturing disproportionate AI deal flow aren't waiting for government categories to catch up. They're building proprietary classification engines. They're tracking signals that don't show up in standardized reports. They're developing sector expertise that transcends bureaucratic definitions. The question isn't whether AI is dominating venture. That's settled. $202 billion, 50% of everything. The question is whether you're measuring the signals that matter or optimizing your portfolio based on data structures built for a world that no longer exists. Because right now, somewhere in the SEC's filing system, there's an other technology company that's going to be worth $50 billion in 3 years. And the only people who know it are the ones who stopped trusting the categories. That's our venture capital podcast for today. If you learned something new, tap 5 stars and follow our show. Thank you for listening to Metagame.
Grep News. Thomas.